Hey, welcome back to Mr. Smith Garage. Kind of lost my voice. It's a few weeks of coughing and being sick. I feel good. I just had to come out here and kind of do a few more things. Once again, we're working on Lars 2002 EuroVan VR6 24 valve. Our goal is to make this thing run. The timing of it takes a while because I do have a full-time job, and so I'm just out here maybe an hour or two a day, kind of tooling around on this guy. So let me tell you where we're at. So got most of the stuff off, if you haven't seen the previous videos, off of around the engine, including all the wires, vacuum hoses, cooling hoses. I just the last video, we got the exhaust off the back, and we had to go underneath and get it off the underneath. And then I ran into this problem, and here's the problem that I ran into. We call it a triple square. In the Volkswagen world, a lot of people called it 12-point. As things modernize, it is called a triple square. And I didn't have one that big. I had one for my Vanagon, but not for that one. And so I ended up getting a kit on Amazon. Fairly decent priced kit. I wanted to make sure that I had something that was strong enough that was going to be able to get these things off. This triple square is an M14, which just so you can see how big that is, that's a big one, right? From the driver's side here, right up through above, and then we turn this to the place that we want it. Gotta get it in there solid. You don't want it coming out. Kind of like on the Vanagons. And then I also, somebody showed me that you stick a screwdriver in through this slotted area here so that it won't move. And so I found a spot here. I'm just gonna show you. Just right through here, it'll hold it. Next step is to use some pretty massive torque. So what I've found, there we go. Did it. And there it is. That's what it looks like. There's 6 of those. So we'll take those off of this side and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, this is the last one. So I've got it loose. I just got to figure out why it's bound up in there. And don't forget, for every 2 bolts, there's a retainer pin. Keeps them straight. So there's a retainer pin in there. Then I have 2 retainer pins here. There we go. So there's the last one. There's the 14mm triple square. And the last retainer pin. So what I think I've seen people doing is pulling this nut off, and then it drops this, and then this is a splined part of the axle here, and then that should just come right off. That's what I've seen people do. Whether or not that's actually really what happens. And then you don't have to take off your brakes, your upper ball joint, any of the steering. All right, I am literally in the land between 2 vans. Losing my voice, sorry for that, but we're gonna take this wheel off, start working on this next. All right, let me show you what's going on here. Tell you what, we have a few spiders, don't we? So there's the CV that I'm taking off on this side of the axle. So now you can see those triple squares a little bit better. So I did learn the way that you get this spline piece off is there's 2 splined bolts on the bottom of that down there. You might be able to see them better than me. And then we're going to take the shock absorber off because that gives us the clearance to be able to pull the axle out. So basically, oh, mine are bolts. Look at that. You take off this bolt and this bolt, and once you get those off, this It gives you the ability to pull the bottom of this out, and then we're going to take this off. We're going to take all of those 6 off, and I think the last thing that we're going to pull off of there is this. And once we get all those off, we just pull this up and pull the axle out, and we'll have the CV axle off. So we'll see how this goes. We're kind of getting down to the wire on what we've got left to take apart. Speaking of wires, so I need to drain transmission fluid. So maybe it's 5. There it is. That's what it is. It's a 5. All right. Watched a couple of videos. Feel a little bit more confident now. So I'm going to take this nut out and try to keep track of how much oil we take out of here. Let's see. This is for gear oil. This is transmission fluid. Okay. It smells lovely. Smells lovely. That's one thing about gear oil. You can always count on it to smell just the best. Now, if you've watched the same videos that I've watched, you know that there's another plug up inside there. So I'll let this drain for just a little bit. Oh, it smells good. Yum. And we'll see what size the plug is in the inside. It's probably the same. That was a 5 millimeter. The other thing while we're under here, we're going to take those off. Bolt there, bolt there. We're going to take the shock absorber off here and there. We are getting close. Oh yeah, we are getting greasy here. It's kind of tight. Good. We're going to put this thing on. Okay, you ready? Here it goes. It is rather interesting. It's plastic, it's hollow, and it has an Allen with some threads on it. It's very interesting. I don't know. And then the other thing I learned is we're going to try and measure. How do you say measure? We try and measure how much transmission fluid we have in there, because that's how much we're going to put back in. Splishity splash. Okay, so this is basically empty. So when I fill it up, I should be able to see how many quarts of gear oil are in there. So let's see if we can do this without messing too much stuff up. Well, let's just say there wasn't too many chunks in there. That's always good. Looks like we've got 3 quarts. I don't have a impact 16, so we're gonna go with this lightweight 16 and see if it works. Well, let's get a breaker bar. Okay. going to show you what I'm doing on this side so you can see. That one didn't quite snap. Okay, let's go one more spline up. All right, so we got all those off. I'm just gonna finish taking them all off, and we'll see what we get to when we get, if we get that lower ball joint piece off, and how hard that'll be. So, all right, just a couple more things here. I'm gonna take this off. It's a 21 millimeter. There it goes. I think we're gonna finish taking these off. Okay, I'm gonna get a mallet and tap that out. Just gonna put that back together so we don't lose it. We took this off in case you didn't see that. A little bit of grease on there. So what I've seen everybody do now is they actually they separate this piece. So let me get a little pry bar. They just get underneath here. I don't want to hurt the boot. There we go. Okay, super low battery right now. But I think what I'm thinking right now is I don't know if I actually have to take this off. I just need to make it free from the engine, which it is. So I'm going to cut off for now. Thanks for joining me, Mr. Smith Garage. So got a new battery. I'm back to the driver's side. I think I'm just going to pull this off so that they're loose. That way I've got consistency on both sides of what I'm doing. Okay, I will tell you that I ended up using a 6-point instead of that 12-point one. I think it just has a little bit more strength when it comes to torque. Okay, now we're taking the shock off. That's funny, that was not going to break with that little Craftsman, that's for sure. Okay, let's put that nut back on there. Well, I think we're good. I think we're just going to leave it loose like that. It's basically ready for engine pull. We're just gonna, now we just have the mounts. That's it. That's the last piece. Engine mounts, and that's it. Thanks for joining me, Mr. Smith Garage. I know this might be a little bit longer one. Thanks for joining me with Lars the EuroVan, and we'll see you next time.